from the Ticats Audio Network. This is Ticats Today with Louis Butko.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Monday, December the 5th, 2022. Thanks for checking us out on the Ticats Audio Network. Really do appreciate it. Louis Butko here with you. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great shows for you on the Ticats Audio Network. We'll be here all December because I was told that's what we have to do. So we're going to be here bringing you all the news. And hopefully there's a lot, because there hasn't been much lately. But we will be bringing you all the news that happens between now, right up until the beginning of the year. And then we'll see what happens come January. Very excited to find out. But thanks for joining us now. Again, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And you can check back throughout the week for brand new episodes of this show, Ticats Today. As mentioned, not much going on around the Ticats, but that's not stopping the rest of the league from going about their business. As the Ottawa Redblacks continue to add to their coaching staff today, they named Baron Miles the team's defensive coordinator for the upcoming season. He was the defensive backs coach and defensive coordinator for Bishop's Gators in 2022. And before that, he spent 2 years with the Montreal Alouettes alongside new Redblacks offensive coordinator Kari Jones, who, of course, Kari Jones joined the Alouettes this weekend as offensive coordinator. Kari Jones last spending time with the Ticats in a front office role. So that's what's going on around the rest of the league. I can also let you know that the Alouettes have signed Almondo Sewell to a new 2-year deal that was announced on Friday. So that's what's going on around the rest of the league. To find out what's going on with the Ticats, very pleased to be joined by Assistant General Manager and Director of Player Personnel, Spencer Zimmerman. And Spencer, obviously not the way you wanted this year to go, not the way you wanted it to end, but how do you stop and take everything in when a year ends like that and you got to turn your attention to what's next?
Yeah, obviously a disappointing end of the season. I mean, you heard and a lot of the players kind of recap, just the overall disappointment and frustration, but, also outline some of the positive things, that were accomplished. So we try to take a little bit of that momentum, but at the same time, really use this time early in the off season to debrief. That's with our players, that's with our support staff, the coaching staff. I'm part of that process as well, debriefing with and Drew and Ed, and really trying to understand, the things that didn't work for us, and just, and also the things that did work well for us, and try to parlay that to really rolling out a comprehensive off-season plan, that starts with, the staffing, and also kind of works its way through the player personnel. And then, the coaches will obviously put together more of their thoughts on how we're going to look different next season from a schematic perspective.
Now, again, talking to the guys, locker cleanup day and the coaches, and the one message I kept hearing was how proud they were of how everybody stuck together, how it was a team, nobody turned on each other. What was the key to that success? Because, obviously we're talking about the season not going the way you wanted to. There were stretches where you could have thrown your shoulders up and thought maybe something, it'd be okay if these guys didn't get along, but that never happened. What was the key to that success of being able to stay cohesive as one unit?
Right. Yeah, I'll say there's two pieces to it. I mean, the first piece is pretty evident. It's the players, right? I think the players, made a decision after that 12-game turn to and it's not like we reinvented the wheel or did anything different. I think they just made a decision that it was going to take a little bit more. It was going to take some more meeting time. It was going to take some more one-on-one time with themselves in terms of their preparation, and ultimately they decided that we were going to finish. We were really going to finish those toughly contested, down to the wire, last second games that I'm sure gave fans a little bit of heart palpitations, like it did myself. But really, ultimately, they decided they were going to finish, and unfortunately, we couldn't finish against Montreal in that East Semi. And really, the second thing, which people in this building wouldn't be too shocked with, is it's our head coach and president of football ops, right? It's O. His demeanor, his vision really didn't waver, right? And I think when you have that type of calming presence, when you have that sense of belief, it is contagious. And I thought it's for lack of a better word, kind of infected everyone in the building that much more. And ultimately, yeah, we played some good football, but we came up short, quite short. So it's something we're focusing on this offseason.
Now you're finishing up your first year in your third stint with the Hamilton Ticats, first in the role that you currently have as assistant GM and director of player personnel. What did you learn about yourself when it came to this past season? What are you going to remember this year, about what you took away from it?
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, I think that process is still ongoing. So I could give you some cliche answers, but I think the way that I've looked at it and the way that we've looked at it comprehensively is our season did end abruptly, well short of our goal and where we expected it. And so we're going to spend, as much of this time not missing anything, right? And part of that is the debrief process, getting feedback from everyone else. And part of that is continuing to review the season, right? Whether it's game by game, whether it's in thirds, whether it's some of the decisions we made in the off season. So I want to give you all these really good answers. I don't have them right now in the sense of that process is still ongoing and there's a lot to uncover because it's not how we envision the season going.
How do you unpack a season? I mean, typically, how do you evaluate? Like you said, it could be game by game. It could be player by player. How do you big picture evaluate the year that you had, especially the way it ended?
Sure. I think the first part is it's emotionless, right? Like I think the first part is the evaluation process starts internally, right? Like that's kind of what we always ask the players to do is to kind of self-reflect on themselves and be aware of maybe things that first worked well for them, but things that they're going to need to and focus on and try to grow with, bring it into the next season. But I think that starts with us as well. You reflect on your role and how that some of the decisions that you were a part of, some of the day-to-day work that you were doing, whether it was productive and how you envisioned it playing out, right, in terms of helping the team win football games. So it starts internally, and then it starts in a group, right? We have a group together assembled, especially on the football ops side and the coaching and support staff. So, we bring our ideas and thoughts together and again, be brutally honest and transparent with each other on some of the, the decisions that we made. And ultimately the whole purpose of it is to come together with a comprehensive plan, not completely differentiating from some of the things we did last year, but really building on them with the shortcomings that we did have this year.
Now, turning your attention to 2023, how do you now approach the situation? The CFL released its list of free agents, and obviously, a ton of names on there, but there's a lot of pieces that are still going to be here in 2023, regardless of how free agency shakes out. So how do you now turn the page once you've done that evaluation? What does the next few weeks, what do the next few days look like for you?
Sure. So obviously, and not an excuse by any means, but obviously with the season ending shorter last year, we do have more time, right? So we're going to take advantage of that commodity because it is the most important commodity is having the time to first debrief our season, which we're really in the midst of. And like I said, it's been quite comprehensive with all the coaches and support staff and the players also being a part of that. And then the second layer is it's looking around the league. Obviously, like I think free agency is definitely something that's that's an important part in the CFL calendar. I think it's a way it's one of the avenues you can enrich your roster. I think right now we're at the point where we're really internally looking at our roster, looking at some of the core players, and also looking at some of the emerging players. I think that last game of the season against Ottawa, gave us a really clear viewpoint of some of the depth we have on the team, how they factor into the team next year, and ultimately the most important piece is how we can get them better, right? I think player development is a huge core pillar to what we believe around here. Investing in some of for lack of a better word, homegrown talent, right? People who have come in here, come up through the system. Obviously Kyle Wilson was one of the players that, chose to be back with us and committed to us for 2 years. So right now we're at that process where, yeah, we are really focusing on our roster because that's where the calendar permits it. We're obviously, heavily focused on preparing for the draft, preparing for, trying to recruit and bring in some of the players we protect on our neg list. So that's a constant, 365, 24/7 proposition. And then ultimately, yeah, getting ready for free agency to see, what players might fit us if they choose to test the free agent market, which is unknown at this point.
There is a level of patience that comes with this job, isn't there? I mean, like you say, waiting out. You talk about negless guys being able to bring guys in. I'm sure some guys who are out of contract might be looking at other options at the end of this year. So how do you balance that patience, that waiting game of wanting a guy back, but understanding that they have their free agent rights?
Sure. Yeah, I think this may sound like an oxymoron, but I think you need to be like vigilantly patient, right? Where you're actively trying to, predict and more importantly, plan for multiple scenarios coming out, right? Starting with our own players, who are players that, ultimately we feel that, we could resign, that they want to be back, that we think it's a great fit to be back. But then there's that process of going through a contract, that makes sense for both parties. So there's some patience to it because I think thought's important, right? On both sides to really think things through in it's a long season, and the off season can sometimes, be rushed at times. So yeah, I think you got to be patient, but at the same time, there's so many different things you can do. Like you alluded to, the draft, the neg list, that your mind's kind of split up. So I think it's more important to be just to really have a comprehensive plan. And our staff having been able to focus on different areas of those operations allows us to kind of focus our resources evenly. So
to that point, between the Vanier Cup last weekend in London, between college football and the playoffs and bowl games coming up, how much college football have you watched the last month and a bit?
Yeah. I mean, more than probably my wife would like, but it's awesome. It's definitely, we obviously like to watch the tape, but anyone would be lying if they're not a fan. They don't want to watch the TSN broadcast of any national championship game or conference championship game right now, soon to be national championship game. And then obviously it's bowl season. So early in my career, I used to kind of cut my teeth going down to the bowl games, which I love doing. I have a lot of memories going to the Boca Raton Bowl and the Miami Bowl and the Beef O'Brady Bowl. So I love bowl season. I think it's there's definitely, just like playing for a conference championship, we saw the MAC championship last week, and transitioning to the U sports, obviously on our staff, Drew really does spearhead the Canadian side in terms of especially up in Canada, visiting a lot of the schools. And but yeah, I have a lot of great memories going to the Yates Cup and going to the Mitchell Bowl. So definitely got to watch an exciting Vanier game as well past couple weeks.
Yeah, it was a great game. Saint Laval Rouge or lift the Vanier Cup again. They tend to do that sort of thing. You mentioned obviously the collaboration between you and Drew and Ed. What have you taken away working with a guy like Hervey? Obviously, you've been in this league a long time. He's been in this league a long time. That front office, from what I've led to believe, is a very collaborative effort. What have you taken away from working with a guy like Ed, Coach O again, getting to work with him? What have you taken away from that?
Yeah, Ed has tremendous expertise in the role. He was a championship general manager. He is, I think he has great perception on where the team's at, and also provides great insight into how he can see the team being enriched and really ultimately kind of raising the water of our sustained excellence, right? I think we talked about kind of how the season kind of split up into really thirds, but also really the back third for us was a more successful part of it. And Ed provides great insight into for us being able to kind of replicate that for all thirds, what some things that come up in the off season, I think it's he's just a really tremendous resource and partner that I enjoy working with. We hadn't worked with each other before, and it's really been awesome, and ultimately I think it's going to culminate to success in the future.
Well said, Spencer. I know you're a busy man. Lots going on behind the scenes within the organization. Thanks so much for making the time, and happy holidays to you and the family.
Yeah, happy holidays, Louis. Thanks for having me on.
And my thanks to Ticats Assistant GM and Director of Player Personnel, Spencer Zimmerman, for joining me on today's show. That'll do it for us today. Make sure to check back later this week for a brand new episode of Ticats Today, and like and subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Like I said, we're back later this week. Thanks for checking us out. I'm Louis Butko. Hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today can be heard every weekday, and we would like to hear from you. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Have a question or an opinion? We want to hear it. That's gameday@ticats.ca. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.